know that only 1 in 2 billion people will live to be 116 years or older? That's right, we as humans are not invincible, and we unfortunately will die. But that's what brings us to the topic of hospice. Hospice care provides pain free support to the patients and creates comfort while maintaining the quality of life. Once you begin your journey as a hospice volunteer, you will forever be changed. My personal experience of spending time volunteering at Hospice Center and through my extensive research, I have become a credible source for giving this speech. By the end of this speech, you will know a little bit of history about hospice, what I accomplished through my service project, how it impacted me, and how it also impacted the lives of others. Now that we talked a little bit about hospice, let's talk about the history. Hospice can be traced back to the medieval times when it was referred to a place of shelter and rest for the weary or ill travelers on their long journeys. According to an article written in 2016 by the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, physician Dom Circley Saunders, who began her work in 1948, first applied the name to specialized care for the dying. She created the first hospice house in the suburb of London. Hospice is still prevalent in the United States today, and if you refer to this chart on my computer, you can see that hospice doesn't always have to be in the hospital. Hospice can come to your house and take care during your time of dying, or it can go to residential care. Now that we've talked a little bit about the history of hospice, let's talk about what I accomplished through my service project. For my service project, I was able to volunteer at the Hospice Center in Jasper County. They are based on the Catholic Church belief system. Mother Teresa helps guide the nurses' practice and allows the patients to embody prayer and comfort during their time of need. The Hospice Center started in 1989, originally called the Monarch Wing, to avoid using the term hospice. After caring extensively for the dying, the Monarch Wing was renamed to the Hospice Center. This allowed families to understand the concept better and to come to terms with the dying process. The Hospice Center saw a decrease in patients as more people were wishing to die at home, but recently their census has risen and in desperate need of volunteers. Now that I have told you a little bit about the Jasper County Hospital Hospice House, I will now tell you why hospice is such a great organization and what I did during my service project. Hospice is a scary word, and many people do not like to hear that. There's a huge stigma on the word dying, but in reality, we all face our own mortality. Hospice is care that supports the patients in improving quality of life when the end is near and there is no cure. Hospice can help people have a safe and comfortable journey as they pass from this life on to their next. Patients are eligible for hospice care if they have a life expectancy of 6 months or less. While my time volunteering at the Hospice Center, I was able to actively listen to the patients' stories. I heard incredible stories, love stories of how they met their spouse. I also heard funny stories that would leave the patients in tears while they reminisced. I was also able to establish relationships with the family members and pray with them during this difficult time. The most unusual task I was given was to go around and hand a single flower out to each individual patient. At first I thought this was rather odd, but after I saw the glimmering smile arise across the patient's face, I knew why they had given me this task. When hospice is referred to the patients at the right time, relationships can be rekindled and opportunities can arise for the patients to complete goals and relive memories with their loved ones. I was able to help patients achieve their bucket list items and improve the quality of life. I also filled the gap between the loved ones and the professional caregivers, and will even when friends and family find it hard to do so. Volunteering for hospice allowed me to become more comfortable with death and allowed me to see the beauty in honoring somebody's life rather than mourn their death. Now that I have described what I learned through my service project, I will now tell you why hospice is so desperately needs volunteers. Hospice needs your help. They need it now. Written in an article by the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization in 2015, approximately 44% of deaths were under the care of a hospice program. So when you think about it, that's almost half of the dying population. As you can see in these charts, our baby boomers are aging rapidly, and the value of hospice volunteers cannot be overstated. So as you can see in this chart, they're coming to the end, and hospice needs them. Hospice needs volunteers to hold the hands of the dying, actively listen to their stories, and share life lessons, and pass out flowers to brighten their day. We need you. The spirit of hospice volunteering is born from a genuine desire to give from within. 105 people die each minute, and you cannot prevent the inevitable, but you can hold their hand through their last breath and provide them with peace and comfort to send them home. I consider volunteering to be a positive turning point in my life, and I hope it will be the same for you.